A new study finds that full body split routines are better than split body routines when it comes to losing body fat. Now, let me just break down these terms so we're on the same page. So a full body split routine would involve something like a power clean, a deadlift, hip hinge, a full body exercise that is a compound movement that includes multiple joints. In contrast, most of these split body routines that are characterized or called bro splits at the gym. Most men are bench pressing and doing biceps. The next day they may do legs. The following day they might do core, then maybe back on Thursday and shoulders and triceps on Friday. Well, this study wanted to see if full body routines actually burned more body fat over the course of the 10-week study period. And in fact, they found exactly that. But what was unique is they stratified individuals based upon the total number of sets and prescribed the exercises according to the individuals in the study, their 1 rep maximal repetition for the bench, squat, and deadlift. So both subjects in different arms of the study did the same volume and the same number of sets and the same number of reps for different exercises. But what was different here is the individuals who did full body split routines actually burned close to 2.2 pounds of fat over the course of the 10-week study period. In contrast, the individuals that just did classical bro split exercises, chest and biceps on Monday, legs on Tuesday, etc., actually gained about 0.3 kilograms of body fat. So there was almost a 2.2 pound difference in fat loss between the different groups that were doing a total of 75 sets over the course of a 5-day per week exercise protocol. So this, I think, is really important, and it kind of explains why CrossFitters, and I'm personally not a CrossFitter, but we can admire the physiques. Most CrossFitters generally are leaner and more muscular and stay leaner year round compared to people who just go to the gym and work out 3 to 5 days per week. So let's get into the study. The study was published in March of 2024. The title is Full Body Resistance Training Promotes Greater Fat Mass Loss Than Split Body Routine in Well-Trained Males, a Randomized Trial. So this was really interesting. As I mentioned, there were 11 subjects in each arm of the study that were randomized to either do a full body split routine or a split body routine like a bro split, 75 sets over the course of 5 exercise sessions per week. So you can do the math here. The number of repetitions were 8 to 12 reps at between 70 and 80% of their 1 rep max of the bench, squat, and deadlift. So if you're wondering what exercises would be good for you, definitely work with a trainer if they've never done squats or deadlifts or any powerlifting so that they can understand how to do those exercises, but also use ChatGPT to come up with the splits. It's amazing how we all use this tool now to do pretty much everything, including designing exercises for a 5-day-a-week full body split. Now, they didn't look at muscular size or hypertrophy. They were just trying to see what was better at promoting fat mass loss. And it turned out that the full body split led to the greatest loss of fat mass. And so the study highlights for strength and conditioning professionals, as well as healthcare practitioners aiming to optimize fat mass loss while maintaining or delayed onset muscular strength, soreness induced by training, the full body routine should be considered and recommended. And so the aim of the study was to investigate the differences in fat mass loss between a full body exercise split versus a split like a bro split. And indeed, what they found is the full body split led to the greatest reduction in fat mass loss compared to the typical bro split. And so it was 0.775 kilograms of fat mass lost for the study subjects that were randomized to the full body split versus 0.3 kilos of fat mass gained for the individuals doing your typical bro split, which I think is super fascinating. So we're going to further dive into the study, but first I want to thank our good friends over at NadsUnder.com, the makers of certified organic cotton underwears, boxers, and briefs. I wear these all the time. As you know, friends, I go in the sauna a lot. I exercise, especially in the heat. I go hiking in the summer. It's really, really hot. You do not want to be wearing polyester crap underwear that is rubbing and getting warm next to your genitals. I don't need to tell you, but there's tons of studies now finding that microplastics make their way into your testicles, into your penis, are linked with erectile dysfunction, hormonal issues, infertility, and beyond. So you can save by by going to NadsUnder.com and use the coupon code HIH at checkout. But that's not all. Nads is launching a limited edition patriotic pair of underwear that's made for men who care about freedom from microplastics and BS underwear. That's, again, certified organic cotton. It fits amazing. And I've been wearing this going swimming and paddleboarding. It looks cool. It's fitting for the summer, especially for 4th of July coming up. So definitely check this out. You can save by going to NadsUnder.com and using the code HIH at checkout. So getting back to the study, I think it's really interesting here that as strength and conditioning professionals, as healthcare practitioners trying to help people lose body fat so that they can optimize their metabolic health, hormonal health, and beyond, we should be considering the fact that full body split routines actually burn more fat. Not too many people are going to become bodybuilders and put on significant amounts of muscle. They just want to go to the gym to look good and look like they're actually making progress with exercise. And so we should be prescribing full body exercises. I kind of oscillate back and forth. Some weeks I do like your typical bro split. Other weeks I do full body exercises. And especially when I travel for work, which sadly is pretty much every week now, when I do travel, I definitely do a full body split. And I've noticed I haven't been gaining weight as I've been traveling more, eating out more, unfortunately, just because that just happens when you travel. It's a great way to stay lean. And now we have pretty good evidence to suggest why this might be. And the researchers highlight the mechanisms here. It's because it turns out that full body splits don't actually burn more calories during the exercise session, but they lead to a reduction in the delayed onset muscle soreness that can cause a reduction in volitional activity throughout the week. That's really important. And so I think when people go to the gym and they absolutely crush chest or crush their back or do a lot of volume on their legs, that it can barely walk the next day so they don't move as much. And while that might be good for hypertrophy, if you're stepping on a stage, if you're a competitive bodybuilder, that may lead to increased fat mass gain over the course of time. And so this is something that, of course, we inherently know. If you go to the gym and you absolutely crush it, you're like, oh, wow, I can feel it. I can barely move. But again, the downside is like that could lead to fat mass gain over time. And I never really thought about it this way, but the study really talked about that. So let's get into that. They say that this full body split routine strategy is particularly relevant for individuals aiming for an aesthetic physique that is visibly lean. And it sheds light on new variables and tactics to manipulate resistance training protocols to optimize fat loss, especially during bodybuilding competitions, they highlight. So I think this is really important to consider, that the full body split routine engages large muscle groups on most training days, and that can lead to a greater post-exercise oxygen consumption, known as EPOC, and that can lead to enhancement of fat loss. And so again, going back to how we introduced this, why CrossFitters look pretty lean and pretty jacked year round is because when you're doing CrossFit, you're causing a lot of oxygen debt. And so this can lead to enhanced fat loss and increased calorie expenditure and burning in the post-exercise window. And so I think that's important. Whereas if you just do, 6 to 8 repetitions of bench press and then rest 3 minutes and do another set, the full body splits are going to lead to a greater oxygen debt, which I think is really important. Okay. Now, what I think is interesting here is the muscle soreness that we experience that can cause us to have the perception that we had a really, really good workout. But an unintended harm of that could be that you don't exercise or don't move enough throughout the day. And that can lead to fat mass gain and possibly metabolic issues down the road. The investigators say previous studies have suggested that muscle fatigue and elevated levels of delayed onset muscle soreness may contribute to decreased non-exercise physical activities, such as activities of daily living. Effective fat mass loss requires maintaining a consistent negative caloric balance, achieving that through reduction in food intake, increased energy expenditure, or a combination of both. Physical activity's energy expenditure is a crucial component primarily influenced by individuals' behavior. So just going out and going for a walk, going out and doing yard work, going out and mowing the lawn, right? If you're completely trashed because you did multiple sets of heavy squats and, leg press and things like that, because you're doing a bro split, maybe you don't have, the energy, or you're too sore to just go do something like mowing the lawn, right? And that over a long period of time could lead to increased fat mass gain. And so they highlight that although delayed onset muscle soreness would be characterized of increased hypertrophy, the downside could be increased fat mass gain. And so I don't know about you, but I haven't really thought about this before. I don't know why. The idea that just crushing it in the gym, doing a bro split, could cause you just to move less throughout the week, you know? So that's just something to consider, especially if you're new to exercise and you tend to get sore and so forth. You might want to do a full body split routine, because prior evidence suggests that full body split routines can have a positive effect on fat metabolism, mitochondrial function, and beyond. And that can lead to greater fat mass loss over time. So your homework is to go into ChatGPT, enter in your body weight, enter in your 1 rep maximum weight for a bench press, for a squat, for a deadlift, and have ChatGPT come up with a protocol for you and implement that for 3 to 4 weeks, and circle back and leave a comment and let me know what you experience in terms of fat mass loss, especially around the abdomen, around the back of the arms, around the glutes, legs, and buttocks. I would like to know what works for you. So as always, my friends, thanks for tuning all the way in. Definitely get your patriotic pair of certified organic cotton underwear over at our friends NadsUnder.com. Use the code HIH at checkout. Appreciate your likes, your comments, your shares, and we'll catch you on a future one down the road.